Hello there, welcome to your complete study guide for the Microsoft AZ-900 certification exam. If you're looking for a way to know the important topics and domains covered in the Azure Fundamentals exam, you're in the right place. In this video, we'll cover the most important topics you need to know, breaking down each domain to give you a solid foundation. So, let's get started. Before we get into the topics, it's important to understand the structure of the AZ-900 exam. This exam covers 6 main domains, each with its own weightage. Cloud concepts and identity, governance, privacy, and compliance hold the most weight, so pay special attention to these areas. Number 1, Cloud concepts, which makes up 25 to 30% of the exam. This domain is fundamental to understanding Azure and cloud computing in general. You'll need to grasp the basics of cloud services, deployment models, and the key benefits of using the cloud, such as cost savings, scalability, and disaster recovery. Make sure you're comfortable explaining concepts like infrastructure as a service, IaaS, platform as a service, PaaS, and software as a service, SaaS. Next up is the core Azure Services, which accounts for 15 to 20% of the exam. This domain focuses on the essential services provided by Azure. You'll need to know about Azure's core architectural components, including regions, availability zones, and resource groups, as well as key services like Azure Virtual Machines, Azure App Services, and Azure Blob Storage. Be prepared for questions on how these services work together and how they can be used to build scalable, secure applications. Understanding the differences between various storage options and compute services is crucial. The third domain covers core solutions and management tools, making up 10 to 15% of the exam. Here, you'll explore Azure's wide array of management and monitoring tools, like Azure Portal, Azure PowerShell, Azure CLI, and Azure Resource Manager. Additionally, you'll need to understand key solutions like Azure IoT, Azure AI, and Azure DevOps. This section will test your familiarity with the tools available for managing Azure resources. Ensure you know how to use Azure Portal for resource management, as well as the basics of automation with Azure PowerShell and CLI. General security and network security is another crucial domain, covering 10 to 15% of the exam content. This domain focuses on the security features provided by Azure to protect your cloud environment. You'll learn about key security tools like Azure Security Center, network security groups, and Azure Firewall. Security is a top priority in cloud environments, and Azure provides numerous tools to safeguard your resources. You'll need to know how to implement network security measures and manage identities securely using Azure Active Directory and RBAC. Identity, governance, privacy, and compliance is a significant domain, making up 20 to 25% of the exam. This domain covers the policies and frameworks that ensure your Azure environment complies with regulatory standards. You'll need to understand Azure's identity services, governance tools like Azure Policy and Blueprints, and how Azure ensures data privacy. This domain tests your ability to manage identities, enforce policies, and ensure compliance with regulatory requirements. Understanding how to use tools like Azure Policy to maintain governance across your environment is critical. Finally, the Azure pricing and support, which accounts for 10 to 15% of the exam. This domain focuses on understanding Azure's pricing models and available support options. You'll learn about the total cost of ownership, TCO, calculator, pricing calculators, and how to select the right support plan for your needs. Being able to estimate costs and choose the right pricing model is essential for managing an Azure environment effectively. You should also know the various support plans available and when to use each. Alright folks, that's your complete guide for the topics covered in Microsoft AZ-900 certification exam. Practice questions by pass4future.com cover all of these topics and concepts with in-depth explanation in an actual exam-like environment. Go on, visit pass4future.com and start preparing for your upcoming certification exam.